Welcome, everybody, to the With the Babins podcast. We are back here again. We've gotten through all of our wedding craziness, which is why we didn't have one
That was crazy.
Yeah. We put on a good party, I'm not going to lie.
I don't know if you ever married off a daughter, but that was crazy.
It was a lot of work.
Inexpensive.
Yeah. It was.
Get out your checkbook.
Yeah, weddings have gotten way more expensive recently
Yeah.
than they were.
Well, yeah. And at the end of the day, you can make a wedding complicated or expensive. You know, if you want to go and cook all the food and clean up everything, set it all up, take it all down.
You can save some money, but...
You could save some money, but at the end of the day, we wanted to love on the people that showed up,
Yep.
you know, and be there. And so that was
It was fun.
That was a good time. It was a good time. A lot of positive feedback from that. People, you know, relational stuff was so fun. People hadn't seen each other in a long time.
Yeah, that's so great.
Well, we had a whole week of being with family and the
Yes.
new family that's now part of our family, getting to experience them, aunts and uncles, and getting to know people. So it was a week of fun and kind of like a family reunion, quite honestly. It was just really neat.
It's kind of like that.
I never, you know, even growing up, I was thinking about it right now. I never imagined that we'd be a family that has, as a tradition, a week-long wedding.
Yeah.
Because that's
kind of our
That's how things used to be, right?
Exactly.
Like, it was a
but
whole
I
thing.
get it. Like you'll never be able to visit with everybody on one afternoon.
For
you know,
4 hours.
For 4 hours is how long a wedding and reception is. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then we have all this family that's out of town. You know, they came in and stayed. You know, so that was it was fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people say this was the best wedding I've ever been to.
Aw.
Which I think is the goal.
I think they were just trying to be nice to you.
Maybe.
It was
They're just trying to
one
be
of the
nice.
best I've ever been to, I have to say, too.
Well, I've never been to a wedding before.
Oh, yeah. You've definitely never been to a single wedding. Never. Well, anyways, today
The preacher was cute. I'm just saying.
Which was
What
you.
was his name? Do you remember what his name was?
I think Adam or something like that.
No, there's someone else there too, though. I think that's who you're talking about.
The Babin.
The
Oh,
Babin.
yeah.
His name was Babin.
Bishop Babin.
Whoa, we didn't go that far.
Well, today for this podcast episode, I kind of wanted to interview you guys about how you guys even started getting into real estate. Because I've kind of reflected back on my own life. Like when I was a kid, never once did I go, I want to be a realtor when I grow up. Never once.
Me neither.
Never crossed my
I
mind.
never thought I'd be a nurse either, but that happened.
Yeah.
It's true.
I planned on fishing oysters all my life.
Yeah, and now you're here. So I guess the real reason why we're all here is because of Mom. Mom was kind of the one who started the whole shebang.
Well, your dad would defer and differ that comment. He actually did start the real estate courses
I can't believe you just gave it that to him right now.
100, because that happened.
It was his
That's what
idea to
happened.
start. Yeah, he's
Okay.
definitely the starter. I'm definitely the finisher.
Whoa.
Got
So
him.
that's
My goodness.
that
I
kind
thought
of
that was a mutual thing that
it's
we
what
did
happened.
there.
I'm just stating facts. So he did actually start the courses first.
Why did you do that? Like, so
yeah, I don't even know. Actually,
So I was in my final years at the hospital working as a nurse. I was in leadership and managing and
Round Rock Medical
at
Center.
Round Rock Medical Center. I've been there since 1998, right? And so here we are in 2007. And I was just burned out. I had just done enough. I had done enough nursing. I had been in the field for a long time. And, you know, I really wanted to be a pastor. I just wanted to be in the church and just do that. And so I would say, you know, church got real busy and it got very exciting. And what we would call revival hit, you know, around 2007. We had been in church leadership for a long time. And I thought, well, they offered me a job on staff. And if I took that job, it was, you know, fairly substantial pay cut from what I was making at the hospital. And so my thought was, well, man, we had flipped a couple houses. We had worked with a realtor and watched that realtor work. Very, very sweet lady.
we loved her. Yeah,
But she just didn't have the drive that we did. We that poor lady, we drove her.
yeah.
well, it was our first house sell, right? And so we sold our house, the first house we'd ever bought before. It was your childhood home.
Yep.
And I just remember I did a ton of work to sell our house. And I actually opened up the door and sold my house. She wasn't able to be there. It was back then in the day when the listing agent would actually show your house.
Yeah.
it wasn't other agents coming in. It was just crazy because that was even, there was like an MLS system, but it was just old school, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking she wasn't there. So I opened the door for the client, the people that ended up buying our house. And I kind of like showed the house and I thought, my gosh, I can do this,
Yeah.
And especially if I felt like I'd sold our house. Like I didn't feel like she did a ton of work at that time. And so that
We didn't know what
Yeah, first time you're selling a house, you have no idea.
She did do a ton of work.
Yeah.
We're just aggressive.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we're aggressive. And so I'm looking up going, well, so I'll take the job as a pastor, and then in my brain, I'm thinking, I'll get a real estate license, and then on the side, I'll just sell real estate.
Like most everyone in America
everybody,
right now.
right? Oh,
I'll just do real estate part-time.
I did the math, and I was like, if I sold 2 houses a year, I get this much money. This is a no-brainer. I'll just make it up, right? And so the entrepreneur in me took off. I bought the classes and sitting down at night doing it, and then the church job got busier and busier, and I'm procrastinating. One night I'm standing up there. Your mom's just answering. I'm taking this test on this real estate class, and she's answering the questions. And I just kind of looked up and said, well, you just do this. And I handed her the computers. You do it, right?
Yeah.
And so she did finish the classes, and at that point, she got her real estate license, which for us as a team just made a ton of sense.
Yeah. I just remember that the first day I took the real estate exam, and I was so excited. I called Lawrence. I passed, because it's a hard exam to pass.
It's long, and it's kind of intimidating. Go in the room.
And there's 2 parts.
Like,
there's the state exam, and then there's the national exam portion. And I was so excited I passed it the first time because I anticipated not.
Yeah.
You studied really hard. That same day, passed the exam. I go to the CVS or Walgreens and get a home pregnancy test. Go home and take it because I think I'm pregnant. And sure enough, I was pregnant. And I thought, well, this is great. It's a great day. Passed the exam, but now I'm pregnant. So
it's awesome.
This is not going to work out.
I quit my job, lost our insurance, started a new career. She's pregnant.
Now I'm pregnant again.
It was wonderful.
Not stressful at all.
Not stressful at all. I thought, well,
not atypical of the Babbins.
Yeah. And that was David. We were pregnant with David.
Yeah.
It was the best decision. And obviously we love him. But I just remember thinking, oh, bummer. I'm not going to really get anywhere with this at all.
Mm-hmm.
She was just worried about not wearing the cute little realtor dresses.
Yeah, I was looking forward to all the business clothes.
She was looking forward to getting a little BMW, driving her little cute dress. And I'm going to be this realtor.
And I had 4 kids at that time, trying to juggle all that. Like, I don't know how that's going to work, but, I had lots of ambitions thinking that I could do that. And I remember we bought a house. We sold that house with that realtor and then bought another house, and I got my license, and he started at the church. And I remember...
and we were flipping that house. So
we were flipping the house.
At the time all this was happening, needed major renovations.
Yeah, that was our first flip.
House.
Yeah, that was our... I love that house. That house I saw... I always go online and I look back at our old houses just to see if the last time they got sold.
That was an awesome house.
And or they've been leased so I can see pictures and see if they changed things. And that house recently got leased out and I saw. And they kept a lot of the stuff that we put in. The bathroom, the first bathroom y'all ever did where we learned to tile and everything, it's still there.
Wow, it didn't fall apart. Praise the Lord.
I know.
It's still on.
So good. It's so good.
That bathroom's the exact same. Like the vanity you bought for that bathroom is still in there.
I got that vanity for like $60.
That vanity was really expensive, and
yeah.
she got it for a great price.
I have a photo
well, now
of me.
looking at the picture, I'm like, that bathroom looks ugly. It's so dated looking. It's so it was like that Tuscany vibe was in.
I love travertine. I still would put that in my house.
It's just the way it was.
Yeah, it was just tumble travertine tile with the chocolate marble. Yeah, we put a lot of love in that.
Yeah, but it's still there.
Yeah, well, good. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's how. So your mom got her license. We started. She was, working, learning how to sell real estate, and I was pretty busy at the church. I mean, I'd take on an administrative pastoral role, which put me, in positions where I would say that not necessarily my strengths, but building teams, developing, and so we learned lots of administrative stuff that the hospital did for me. So as a leader in the hospital, they handed me reports and things, and I had a whole team of minions doing things, and I just got to make high-level decisions. When I got to the church, I got to build all that stuff.
Yeah.
And in my role, just got busy, and there was no way I'm selling real estate. So that's how it all got started.
And my first listing, I remember, was our neighbor across the street from that house. You know, the Seth and their son were really good friends and buddies. And I just remember the pressure of helping them sell their house. You know, the weight of that as a realtor was a big deal. And
it's your first time. You don't really know. There's so many little ins and outs that
it was wild.
How did you convince them to trust you to do it? Because you're like had zero experience and zero.
You know, they really. I was very honest. I was very honest. You know, this is my first time, and they knew that going in, and they had the confidence in us. And that was just, I really think back and think how sweet they are to have trusted us with that. And we did a great job selling the house.
I'll tell you, the differences between me and your mom showed up constantly because I'm saying to her, we signed up with Keller Williams because we're a team. You're not new. Any question you have. And so don't go to someone and say, I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. But your mom's, that's true. Okay, great. I know. But I have a leader with me, and we're going to do it together, and I'm going to work hard. And so we went, it was a lot of, there was a lot of that going on. I was like, you're going to scare people.
Yeah, you did a great job reminding me of the strength of the team dynamic. And I was at the Lake Travis Market Center at that time when I signed up in 2007. And I had a coach, we had trainers, we had a whole team dynamic that did help with the listing piece because I was new. But I did have their expertise and experience, and that's what the sale happened because of that.
Right.
But also in those years of 2007, 2008, I remember people looking at me and saying, Danielle, if you can withstand this crazy market downfall.
We started the real estate
economic
business in the crash.
It was
we started
horrible.
in 2007.
Yes. And so
and the market crashed in 2008.
Right.
We sold our house 90 days before the market crashed.
That was a miracle.
And we got into a rent. Oh, it was a complete
little rent house.
So I remember people looking at me and saying, Danielle, if you can just hang tight and hold on for 2 years, you're going to do great in real estate. And that has proven to be the case. And so I always remember that from one of the coaches there at the Keller Williams Market Center, just hold on. I just remember, though, I entered the real estate environment with a ton of short sales because a ton of foreclosures, a ton of short sales. And so it was a hard time as an agent getting my license and helping buyers and sellers go through some really financial, economic difficulties.
That's devastating. I have to sell my house because I lost my job and I'm going to be upside down and need to get rid of this right now.
And people are, and then there's an underlying, not dissatisfaction. I don't know what word. Sometimes it felt hostile, right? The realtor's charging money to sell the house and the job appears easy.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a lot of liability. It's a ton of work, a lot of different things, particularly in the midst of a foreclosure. If I'm representing the buyer and we're going to go buy a foreclosure, there is a lot of things that you need to know about before you actually purchase this home.
Right.
So it was my mind was open to when I first looked at being a realtor. 3% of whatever the sale is, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what is not very clear
is the amount of work.
From zero to close,
there's a lot to go.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, and for instance, this week we got a client under contract, and I've been working with him off and on for 3 years?
Yeah,
3 years. And it's been great, and we've made offers on things and, decided, hey, that's not the right property and, all that. And so I just kind of realized, oh my goodness, we're this is happening, and that's been 3 years. And I think people kind of look at the commissions from a realtor's perspective.
That's easy. I could sell a house.
Yeah, that's just not a big deal.
Once a month, it's not that big of a deal. It's just one house a month.
I just need $50,000 a year. So I need to sell 5 houses. Great.
But the strength of relationship that's been built over the 3 years, he trusts me, he trusts our team, he knows, we have a great working relationship. But if I calculated the hours, and put a dollar figure, it's just kind of shocking. And I think people don't realize how much investment and time it takes to really build a business. And, we really strive to have referrals. I mean, that's our goal, is to have our clients be lifelong clients that really love us and trust us.
So in the beginning years, you're like, crash is happening, you're doing all these short sales and stuff like that. How long did it take y'all? How many years did it take you to actually start, this can now sustain our family? We're actually now making money?
So in 20, so I'll tell you, I know the numbers exactly because we watched it pretty good. So we ended up leasing a house. So our family of 2007, because Austin wasn't born yet, we moved into a 1,600 square foot 4-bedroom house.
Yes.
7 of us lived there.
It was pretty small.
It
See,
was
you
really
say 1,600 square feet, and in my brain, it's still way smaller than that.
It
Nope.
did feel smaller.
my
It
than
was
that.
memory.
1,600 square feet. It was 4 bedrooms. And, never really bothered me, but I grew up poor. And, I've always been in small houses. I've never, I feel like a king in this house we live in, and I don't even own this house.
Well, it's bigger than the 1,100 square foot our original house that we bought. So 1,600, one more
it was-
bedroom.
so
it was
we were stepping
bigger.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1,100.
It
to
was a step
1,600.
down from Buttercup Creek.
Yes.
Anyway,
That house was awesome.
From the time we moved into that rent house, we went about 2 years. We went through 08, 09, and then we got into 2010, I think it was. And then we landed another home that needed renovation.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep,
we
kind of
bought that house, and we worked there. It was real close to the church. It worked out well. By 2013, we realized that my time at the church was coming to, a close. We were done with that season of our lives. And, now I'm more, I'm loving the investment world. So in 2013, the answer to your question is we didn't make enough money with the real estate company from 2007 all the way to 2013. It was not enough money because when you become self-employed, everything that I worked at the hospital. So at the hospital, the salary that I made, in 2013, we made more money in the real estate company than what I made in the hospital. But after taxes on a self-employed thing, it was actually taking in less money than I was making at the church. So it was a real scary moment. So what we did was we sold the house in 2013. We took the equity from that to pay my salary. I resigned and got my license in 2013, and then we went for it. It was a do or die.
Right. And then I got my broker's license around that time that you got your license. I went after and got my broker's license so that we could say, okay, we can create a team and have the strength of that. I knew that it was coming down the line that if to get your broker's license, Trek was going to require 4 years of a salesperson's license before you could even apply. And at that time, it was only 2 years. And I had 4 years at that time. So, and then with Lawrence coming on the team, he really brings the element of the driver, the entrepreneurial business model, where I kind of more of the fine detail, and looking at the data.
Yeah. And it's helpful to be on a team. I don't know if we've mentioned this on the podcast or not, but each client is obviously different personality types. Some people are going to respond better to you than to mom and vice versa.
Correct.
Just depending on the temperament. And a lot of times we can look at each other and be like, okay, I need to call mom's, her strengths are what I need to help this person. Yeah. Or, okay, no, I got to get my dad on the phone because I need his help because they're going to respond better to his voice.
Yeah, you're going to have a unique perspective on that because I see you doing that. Your siblings hadn't quite figured that out yet.
I know.
Because you're making money hand over fist by using the two of us, and they're just like, ha.
Well, I think some of it is maybe it's a pride thing. I don't care about if I did it by myself. I don't care. I'll cash the check. I made money.
That check still cashes. No matter who did it.
It doesn't matter. And that's obviously I'm leveraging the strength of the team to help me close a deal versus messing it up. And now I have to work 10 times harder. And then also in that process, you're talking with them on the phone. I'm also on the phone. I'm also learning how did you do that.
Correct. Right.
And now your scripts and things that you guys have said in the past are now in my brain, and it makes me more confident because I've heard you guys. Oh, they said this, and this is how that made them feel secure. Oh, that didn't. Now I know how to explain that better and educate someone better because I use their wording.
Even on this note, that I feel like I need to say, one of my main motivators to all of this, and it still is today, is that when we say we want a lifelong client, we mean that. I got a client, Bo Bastine, I love him. He's just so cool. I come across a property. I know him.
Yeah.
I've been his realtor for
long time.
A decade now. I could see a property he wants, and I'm gonna call him. Hey, Bo, you want to take a look at this? And he is just like, yeah, man, let's go. So the lifelong client thing for us is a core value.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that was always challenging to me about real estate sales or just salespeople in general is that the script becomes, memorize the script.
Yeah.
Where what I wanted people was to know the value. So the script sounded something like that. We are a team of people that bring a combined amount of years to the table. Our
Yeah.
experience is not just, my experience of, so technically 13, I've only had 10 years of experience. Well, but if you take my 10 years and then you take her 15 years, we got 25 years of experience. Right? Now, somebody might say, well, you're just skewing the numbers, but that's still a reality. There's a weightiness, there's a stability, right, to a team that can operate, communicate, and effectively execute at a high level. Because that says that's a dynamic that's different, right?
Yeah.
So we're communicating within our team. Some people on our family, some people not in our family. The ability to communicate to them, our highest priority is a lifelong client,
Yeah.
even if it costs us money,
Right.
right? So we're not transaction oriented, we're relational.
Yep.
And everything we say and do has to come from that. So if you've got a client and you realize, man, my dad really needs to help this client, we care about the client,
Right.
not the transaction.
Yeah. It's not about me or I want to be,
The check is nice.
yeah.
It's a perk.
Well, or even just like I want to be the good real estate agent, look like I'm the one who knows all this stuff.
Right.
I don't really care. I want to make sure they have a good house because in 3 years I want them to call me to
right.
sell it.
That's exactly
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
That's correct.
That's the referrals and the repeat business and how you build your database over time. It's not just the quick sale buy.
Right.
Right. You want to be able to stay in touch with those people and love on those people and make sure they remember you.
Right.
And that, all that.
Add value.
That's right.
That's kind of our whole family dynamic. If I show up, how do I add value?
Yeah.
Do I know who I am? Do I know what I carry? Where my strengths and weaknesses are? And can I plug in and contribute?
Yeah.
Well, and we train other members of the team to have those same values.
Right.
And,
That's right.
and those that are on our team already naturally carry those anyway.
Right.
Or they're not getting on
So-
our team.
If they're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to
there's-
be associated with us for very long if they're transaction oriented.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. It just doesn't
Right.
click. It doesn't feel.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you feel like the culture as far as like within real estate and realtors has changed from back then to where you guys were back then to now? Obviously, the number of realtors has greatly
Oh my
increased in
gosh.
this area
So-
since you guys started.
I think that Gary
But-
Keller, if I had to throw him Gary Keller, he has just done a phenomenal job of helping real estate agents understand to create a team is the most effective way to get things done.
Right.
Because one real estate agent trying to do one transaction, there's too many nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
right?
it's a lot.
So from a cultural perspective, I'm seeing more and more people adopt team mentality. You think it wasn't that long ago where it was just one realtor to all those transactions, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And now you're pretty hard pressed to go and not find a team of agents. So from a cultural perspective, teams are becoming more and more relevant, and it's good because I don't know. Sometimes the work ethic of your generation, it's a little bit lacking.
What are you talking about?
So I mean, so one little agent trying to find me a house is probably not enough. Having an inside sales agent helping locate properties and send them to somebody while you're out on the street showing houses is very helpful.
Yeah.
Where before you had to show the house, you had to search for houses, you had to send them in an email. So the culture is definitely changing. And I think people are more relaxed at commission splits and sharing and being a team.
I think to your point, Gary Keller has created within Keller Williams a really great culture that I can call, and I have relationships with Keller Williams agents in other parts of the country. And Keller Williams just opened up a whole division in Germany too, so international as well, which is really awesome. And so when I call another Keller Williams agent, and it can be the same thing for EXP or Remax or anybody else, but mainly Keller Williams, I know the culture, I know the systems, I know that they're going to have typically the same values, and so it makes those referrals and those transactions happening. We have currently a KW referral from another agent from another state, and it's her sister's house we're selling, and that's been so great. It's been a great experience, and we cherish and I love those experiences. I think as a whole, though, you had so many agents or salespeople that got their license the last couple of years to capitalize on the
big boom here.
post-COVID reactions. And I think a lot of those agents didn't have not put the systems in place and understood the time and effort that it takes to cultivate and have a strong business.
right.
Yeah.
And that they're going to probably step out of the workforce and step out of getting, working in real estate, because it does take so much work, really cultivating
It's a lot
the
of work.
strength of your business model and loving on your clients to a high level degree. It's just not as fast paced anymore. And we're kind of back to 2018, 2019,
Yeah, we have to actually work to sell a house or to get
you actually have to stage a house, you
take
actually
good
have
pictures and
to negotiate.
Well, what's happening is what felt to us like it was less work was more stressful for
definitely more stressful.
buyers, right?
Yeah.
And so that was traumatic for buyers, right? So real estate agents, any real estate agent could show up and pop something on the market, and the market itself had so much pressure,
yeah.
right? But that doesn't mean that those agents negotiated good for the clients.
Right.
And that's where I kept seeing things. So I watched those things happen. Now, I'm more of an investor kind of guy. And, I love our houses that we've owned, but I am not emotionally attached to any of them, right? Maybe my property in Louisiana, but there's just something about your real estate agent caring about your money
Right.
and being able to advise you, hey, this is high. This is an elevated price, and there's nothing like it.
Right.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So if you're looking to be an investor, this may not be the right house for you. If you want to be an owner for the next 10 years, this is probably a good deal.
Right.
Right? So having that ability and then having negotiation skills. The negotiation skills are the value of the house is what the seller's willing to sell and what the buyer's willing to pay. Finding that number takes a lot of patience, honor, and lots of healthy communication skills. And I've been on the other side of transactions where realtors are easily offended, haughty, and hostile. And it's terrible. Or the other side, they just lay down and expose the client's going to take this number. Like, you should, so many times the dad in me is going, little girl, you can't say that to the buyer's agent.
You just showed me all your cards.
No, don't do that, right?
Yeah, that's not how you played the game.
Yeah.
Or, dude, you got to get off the couch and go to work. Like, if I have to call you one more time.
I know, yeah. You can do your job.
Can you please do your job?
Please.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Mom, I guess, since she got her license first, she was the one, I'm sure you're a part of that process of interviewing brokerages. And because there's a bunch of different ones, and now more so than ever, you have all the little boutique brokerages going on now too. Why did you guys pick Keller Williams?
I did.
Specifically over everybody else.
Right. I interviewed with Century 21, which was big and still is, Remax, Keller Williams, and then there was a small mom and pop kind of boutique brokerage in Cedar Park that I interviewed. And I really walked into each of the different brokerages and kind of looked at the environment. I walked in one and I could see two agents fighting.
Okay.
And I thought, this is not the culture I want. And then literally they were fighting over whose client was which agent. They were fighting over an agent, a client in particular. And so I just remember thinking, and I remember the stress, and they were talking about how you had to meet a certain level. And I'm thinking, I'm a mom. I can't have that much pressure for volume and sales at that time. So I thought, okay, this is not the right environment. The boutique one would have been great, but I could tell that they weren't going to be hands-on for training. So each one of them had the pros and cons, and I just landed when I walked into Keller Williams. I loved the values that were stated on the wall. I thought, God first, then family, then your business. And I thought, that's my core values. I can totally relate. And that was the first company that had that, in their office. And then the culture was really vibrant. The support was huge.
Well, the culture was the stated culture that they were going for. Because we learned quickly after we started that different offices had different cultures.
Yeah.
But
at that time,
you connected with the coach, the lady that became your coach, and that relational connection.
Correct.
She carried the core values,
Right?
And we're attracted to that.
Yeah, because each office, Keller Williams office around has the broker obviously in that office, but then a productivity coach.
Correct.
That helps, which I think several times for the past several years, Keller Williams has been the number one brokerage for education. Like other brokerages will send their people to Keller Williams Education because they just have a really great education model to actually get you
You're
started.
hard pressed
Yeah.
to find a smaller brokerage today
Yeah.
that someone has not been trained by a Keller Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were very
I
hard
mean,
pressed.
they've educated.
Yeah.
like
sure.
it feels like 75% of the real estate agents have
Right.
had some level of Keller Williams education.
Yeah.
Well, and I think from what we've learned with what Keller Williams, the brokerage does so well, is it empowers the agents to have their own business and incentivizes them and encourages them to build a long-term life-sustaining business.
Right.
And it's not like some brokerages, I feel like it's all very transactional based, and that's not the heart behind Keller Williams. They
Right.
really want their agents to have a lifelong, and you see agents that have been with Keller Williams for
Decades.
40, 50 years.
Well, we're not going.
And-
I get those calls all the time. Hey, I saw you.
know.
You interested in interviewing another broker? It's like,
No.
not on your life.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I remember, speaking of that, I got my license, obviously I was 18. I had it for 2 weeks. And as soon as your license is active on Trek, they've got some system, these brokerages, and they're hammering my phone. And one lady calls me, I'm calling on behalf of so-and-so broker at this and this such place, and he's heard such great things about you. And I went, girl, I'm 18 years old. I just passed my test. Like,
There's no way
you're
he's heard
so
about
full
me.
of it. She's like, and he would love to interview you for the team. And I was like, well, my parents are both in real estate, and I think they'd be really mad if I went to someone else. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, that's so fun. I'm so happy for you. And she's like, bye. And just like hung up. But I love that script of like, so-and-so's heard such great things about you. I'm like, girl,
There's no
everyone
way.
you're calling knows that's not true. But they
I've heard
do.
such
I mean,
great things about you. You're 18. Just finished high
yeah,
school.
yeah. You
That's
literally
amazing.
you just passed your test 2 weeks ago. He's heard so much about all the good work you've been doing. No, but yeah, I still get those calls all the time. And I just say, oh, my parents are on a team, so I'm probably not going to move away from them.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that
For
kind of
us,
stuff. But
as long as a company, as long as the Keller Williams as a company continues to operate, at least with the cultural values that they have and
Yeah.
the competencies and those, prioritizing your life, God, family, then business. That was, for Danielle, we in the corporate world, you're struggling. You're
Yeah.
struggling to, not let your job be the the primary source, like God first, then your family, right? And when you're working in the corporate world, like you're owned by them, and
Yeah.
you're driven to earn your salary so that you can take care of your family. So it's really, really weird dynamics. It was awesome to be partnered with a company that had those values, and maybe not every real estate agent in Keller Williams lives those values.
right.
We were attracted to that,
Right.
and we live that way,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why we won't go work for another real estate company. So, and your mom has a broker's license, and I'll be getting mine. We could have our own company. I don't need a real estate agent sales company.
Yeah.
I just like selling real estate, and mostly because I like investing now. So, I think that answers your question. Hopefully,
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, back to like the whole family thing. My whole life, you were a stay-at-home mom until
was.
you got your real estate
Right.
license.
Yeah, and I would
up until that point.
I would watch other nurses, fellow workers and nurses at the hospital, their kids throughout the week. So I had a
Yep.
full-time.
Yeah, you had like a little daycare going
I
on. in
did.
the
On
little
top of my
house.
kids, I had other people, and I was daycare, and I love that. It was great. It was hard work. It was wonderful, and I'll get text messages from some of those nurses about the impact that I had on them. And one actually texted me the other day and said, "You taught me how to be a mom when I was a new mom, and
yeah.
I just can't thank you enough." And that was just really meant a lot. To me, that she would take the time to text me
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. So, and so that was, I did get worn out. And so it was just kind of a fun thing for me to have a career outside, which I had only previously done medical secretarial work, worked for a doctor when we first got married, and worked that for about a year, and that was it. And didn't want to go back to that. And real estate was something that I could see a long-term career, and enjoying doing, but it was a lot. It took a lot of courage on my part to enter into something that for me was really, it was not my personality to jump in to take something like that on.
Yeah.
And if you're, you really, Lawrence really helped push me. I mean, he really did.
Yeah.
She had a real estate license, like, I don't know. I don't remember where the lead came from, but somebody calls, we're selling $180,000 house,
Houses.
$120,000.
Yeah.
Somebody calls and says, our client is selling, they need to sell a $900,000 house.
Yes, I
and
remember
I need
this.
you to go interview. And your mom
Freaked out.
comes into the house and I got off of work and she's like, I think I'm just going to refer it out. And
Yeah,
I
I was
remember
overwhelmed.
thinking,
Heck no.
oh, no, you're not going to refer that out. Get in the
did say
car,
that.
sister. I'm going with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to go, right?
Yeah.
And so
we landed that.
We did.
It was actually my first luxury listing. It was in Georgetown. It was actually right in the heart, right across from Southwestern
Beautiful
University.
house.
Yeah.
And it was a fully restored, beautiful Victorian house. It's always on the Christmas home tour in Georgetown, Texas. And they just did beautiful, long English pine floors. I mean, everything was customized to the hilt. And what I did is I reached out to another luxury agent in that area.
That's
in
it.
Keller
And asked for
Williams.
help.
And I just sat down and she was operating a high level. And I just said, hey, I need help. And she was so sweet. She brought all of her materials that she does, and she sat down with me at Starbucks. I'll remember this so clearly, and said, do this. And I'm just sitting there taking notes. And I did exactly what she said, and she was so sweet.
Keller Williams culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That lady could have demanded. She
A
could have
referral fee.
demanded.
Let's go in 50-50.
Yeah, she could have come
Well,
in.
co-list.
And I did go to another Keller Williams agent, and I just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. And she wanted to co-list, but I could tell that our working relationship would not have necessarily been the best.
Right.
Well, I think she's the one that planted it in your head that you should refer it out. And I thought that
She
lady
did.
was the devil.
No, she did.
That's what I thought.
It's okay. She did because and it's Lori McNevin. Hey, Lori.
Lori, we love you,
Yes,
Lori.
she
Wonderful.
was awesome. She was out of the Lakeway Market Center, and she just said, Danielle, do this, and this, and I remember her saying this, and it will always stick with me. She said, the activities that you do for a luxury listing are the same activities you do for a $150,000 listing.
Yeah.
You just got to gloss it up a little bit, is all she said.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? You're right. The same activities, because your heart's not going to change on 150. You're not going to dumb down your service or your
Yeah,
skills.
you still
or-
provide the same level of service, yeah.
You just have to have more pictures and fancier brochure because
Well-
but that's it. I mean, you still
Yeah.
do the same activity, and the effort and the drive and the same thing is on any price point.
Yeah.
And
Because
it's
you're
just-
fighting for a client at the end of the day,
Totally.
regardless of the house.
So
that's
that
what you're
that brought
doing.
things in perspective. Just those words from her and her encouragement, and that's when we implemented the home books. Was really because of Lori. She just said, "Hey, here's a home book. I've never seen that before," and so from that point on, those are some things that we've incorporated into our business model. It's because of another KW agent.
Yeah.
Well, if I could just comment real quick about that. I mean, it is true that the activities of the agent, it doesn't change. But when you're talking about listing a farm and ranch or a luxury, the marketing
is
takes
different.
on a whole
Right.
nother level
Yeah, the
because
marketing's different for sure.
a client looking to spend $2 million, they're going to see cell phone pictures of a house.
Yeah, you can't
and
do
they're
that.
not going to get off the couch.
But
No.
the truth is, we would not do cell phone pictures on
never have.
$150,000.
We never
house. We
have.
don't do that.
And a couple listings like the super trashed out trailer that you walked on the property.
Well,
and
they're
you could
investment
smell,
properties
like-
anyway. It's as
Yeah,
is. Like,
but that
that's
was
just-
like this is don't go inside when we write don't go inside the
But
house. It
that's
needs
not
to be torn
what's
down.
complicated about
Right.
those. What's complicated about those is the liability behind the trashed out house and
Yeah.
all the other, and putting that deal together and trying to negotiate. Like that's where the actual work comes into place, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Versus the luxury listings, there's not a bunch of people in the world that can go write a $2 million check for
Right,
a house.
so yeah, so it
you're trying to
definitely-
tap into 1% of the entire population of the country.
Yeah, and get
so
in front of them.
your marketing has to be on par,
It does.
which is another reason why we're not going to work for anybody else but Keller Williams.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That brother branded a color. Like when I heard that, I thought,
Who does that?
can you copyright a color?
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
Like that Keller Williams red it'll burn your eyes. You can't drive anywhere. And that sees it. I see Keller Williams agents without that red sign. I think, you're nuts. What's wrong with you? Put a big red sign in the yard.
Yeah,
It
no,
definitely
sticks
stands out.
Anybody in the world can drive down a street and see a red sign. They know it's for sale.
Yeah. Yeah. It's either Keller Williams or Redfin.
Redfin copied.
It's slightly darker.
It is
it's
darker.
more
It's,
like
more,
Whatever,
it's a more
man.
maroon
Yeah.
color. Yeah, it has a kind of more.
Whatever. They're lucky
yeah.
my friend Gary didn't go after him.
I think it's slightly different.
It is slightly different. Yeah.
But yeah, and then did you guys ever envision growing a team with like other realtors being on it, or you guys always decide just be like the two of you guys forever?
I did not envision growing a team, but your dad being the entrepreneur person,
I did.
He did.
I ran the numbers 100 times and they never work out.
Yeah.
It's just you can generate more revenue. So I could sit in a room and go, "Hey, oh yeah, we're millionaire real estate agents."
Yeah.
But we didn't
profit's
keep,
about
we
the
didn't
same.
keep any of our profit, but we sold $100 million. That's wonderful, if you're competing in the team of realtors. But at the end of the day, that's not going to get our goals accomplished. So
I have to say though, to have a team, it's fun to help people develop into being business owners and help them learn and discover values for themselves and to learn a very valuable skill. So that part of having a team is been really great and encouraging and fun. It's certain people can stick with real estate and some people can't. And so that's always a difficult piece of real estate is some people are cut out for it, some people are not. And so sometimes you have to kind of figure that out and you have to help people figure that out too.
that's the piece that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we weren't necessarily really for our own brokerage, running the math on doing your own brokerage. It doesn't make sense when people are calling me trying to get me in their brokerage. I'm thinking, why are you doing that? You're not going to make any more money than you're making now. It doesn't make sense, right? Other than to grow your brand, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing that becomes exhausting is that so many people, like we get phone calls constantly, "Hey, if I get my real estate license, can I come work for you?" And we're always honored by that. We love that. We want to help. But what we've discovered is, man, only 1 out of 20 are gonna do the hard work.
Yeah, I was gonna make
They're not. People start. They get their license. This is hard. I can't do it.
Yeah, and was the statistic 80% of realtors quit within the first year?
12 months.
Yeah.
12 months,
Right.
80% is
Yeah.
what I think. I don't know what the
Yeah,
current
I have
numbers
to go
are.
look at it. It's been a while since I heard the statistic.
Well, and I think
but-
from a financial perspective, it took a good 3 years to really start kind of getting some momentum, and not that I didn't make money the year 1, 2.
Yeah, you make but like
3 was kind of okay. We're kind of building momentum here, and it's work. And,
Yeah.
and
Year
sometimes
7, we made $70,000. Year 7,
yeah.
right? So
but that was back in
But yeah,
long time
but
ago.
like
where
coming
that
off of
was-
the crash of 2008,
Yeah.
then
But like inflation, everything's kind of more expensive
is.
now. So it kind of, because
Inflation.
I think we always, like, and this was going to be my next question. We do have people call, I want to get in real estate, or I'd like to get my real estate license. And my first thought is, no, you don't. You have no idea. You saw HGTV and you thought this is a good idea.
I always,
right?
I
Selling
always lead with
sunsets.
the powerful question: what are you doing now, and why don't you like it?
Right.
Yeah.
Because that tells me a lot, right? Because your temperament, your personality, your past experiences, your drive, your vision, I'm asking those questions.
Yeah.
Because what are you looking for in life, and what are you trying to accomplish, and how is real estate going to do it, right?
Right.
So, we do regularly get that question.
Yeah. So if I'm somebody who's watching this and have thought about getting into real estate, what are the questions I maybe need to ask myself or things I need to consider before I just go online and, there's a special promotion that costs her $150?
I think you have to be really a good self-starter. You have to be able to start something
Self-motivating.
and be driven. You have to be a driven individual. You have to be able to do things on your own and be motivated to work on your business because that's what you're going to be doing. And you also have to really genuinely love being with people.
Yeah.
And genuinely want to enjoy that. There's some people that can do a great job and be a leader and have, buyer's agents or listing specialists underneath them that are more people driven. And they could be more business minded. You're going to have being a self-starter, you're going to have some drivenness.
Yeah. Because there's no boss who wake
business.
up every morning and tell you, you're going to do this, 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 and this today. It's no one's telling you anything. Now go make money somehow, figure it out. Like,
For me, the core competency that I developed was I genuinely want to help people buy a good house and sell to make profit. I genuinely wanted to help them. And someone along the way, we were doing some cold calling, which we've just never done well
I
at.
hate
I've sat in the classes and
We've done it.
you know, I've done a couple, but I mean, I've probably cold called maybe 20 people in my whole life, which, you know, you should cold call people, I guess. But the thing that helped me the most with it is somebody said to me, you're just getting on the phone and seeing if you can help someone. No matter what they say,
Right.
all you're doing,
I'm trying to help.
do you need help? No, go fly a kite. Thank you.
Yep.
Do you need help? Do you need help?
Yeah. Versus the mindset of I'm asking someone to give me money.
Right.
for
I want to
something.
help in that
Yeah,
mind shift
it
for
totally
me.
does.
Once my mind shifted and I understood I'm looking to help someone, I never had to cold call anybody.
Yeah.
Because that was the truth.
Right.
Right? The challenge becomes is most people start doing something like that and they need the money.
Yeah.
And when you need the money,
It's hard.
it is hard.
Yeah. And I think we also tell people like you need to have X amount saved up.
6 months.
6
At
months
You
of
need to
salary
have
saved
at
up.
least
At
6
least 6
months.
months.
So if you're thinking about getting into real estate, save 6 months of income in the bank that you can live on while you start your business.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Get 6 months ahead, then give yourself a raise,
Yep.
right? And that's it.
Yeah.
And, that's the most peaceful way to do it, because it's a lot. It takes somebody's just starting out right now. It's tough. You got to get through these big teams.
And you got to think about if you're a new agent and let's say you're new to an area and you've moved from another state, you may not have the sphere of people connections, right, to really generate. So you are going to have to cold call because you don't have any other connections in town.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to pay for leads or lead services, and that can get very expensive. That's why if you have connections in a small area and you already have relationships, you usually use the first couple of years, your family and friends are the ones that are buying and selling with you. And then when you're done with that, you're done. I mean, because
First
Yeah.
24
I've
months.
ran through my list. Now
That's
who
it.
else am I gonna?
so,
Yeah.
you know, you can, so it's just, there's just lots of things to think about from a business model and a business plan. How can you really have something sustainable? And it takes some effort.
Yeah, I always encourage people find a team that's that's gonna help you.
Correct. Right.
Because I think there's a reason why you can be 18 and get your real estate license. Anyone who can read can pass that real estate test. You can take the classes and it'll teach you what you need to know to like legally, but it doesn't tell you how to deal with people, how to market a listing, how to negotiate. Like that's not in the classes. Those skills you got to learn from somebody else, and you got to find someone who's doing it well and who's willing to teach you. Which is why I think the team models, there's no way I could have done it by myself.
Right.
Well, and
Or I mean,
You could
I
have.
could have
If it's
done it.
someone-
I don't know if I would have stuck with it. I mean,
Right.
the
it's
younger
challenging.
generation right now, are going to be incredibly successful if they look up at the people who are driving and they can keep up.
Yeah,
They just got to get there. I got to go watch.
yeah. Figure out how to drive it.
I can't. I'm never going to be able to force a work ethic in you, right? I'm not going to be able to make you do it the way I do it, but I'm certainly willing to let you watch me do it, and you got to keep up, right? I'm not going to be accountable. You know, that's the challenge that we're facing with the younger generation coming into the workforce is that they seem to be a little bit soft, right? And but if they get hungry,
Yeah,
and once they start experiencing success,
yeah,
find someone that's doing it better than you. Humble yourself
And learn.
pay attention.
yeah,
Get in there, go do the things. Don't demand to be paid, X amount of money. I've had so many, experiences where, young people show up and I want to be paid X amount of money. Well, what value do you bring to the table? Well, I need to learn. Well, that's not valuable. That's costing me money, right? And that doesn't flip. It doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So you got to be hungry, in any business, to be honest.
yeah.
But for the real estate company, we're happy to have a conversation with anybody and
Right.
ask questions
For sure.
to help them decide, is real estate right for you?
Yeah. And so last question, where do you guys see yourselves in real estate going maybe in like the next 5 years or so?
In real estate, I love selling farm and ranch. I like flipping houses. We enjoy buying old, dilapidated homes and making them beautiful. We have a core value for a particular scripture that we feel like desolated properties. We have a grace on our lives to restore desolation. And so for me, I'm gonna always be watching for that. I want to go get those properties, buy them, fix them up, and put a new family in them, or a retired family, or somebody who's gonna enjoy something someone else just. A lot of these rent houses are just being destroyed.
Yeah.
I love buying those.
Yeah.
The trashier, the better.
Yeah. That was interesting growing up. And every house we lived in was like a hoarder's house.
Feels like it.
And like I can walk into any house and be like, oh my gosh, this is a great house. And everybody's looking at me
people
like,
are looking at you like, what? Oh, man.
this is
I'm
so
gonna change
ugly.
all that? This is gonna
I
be
said, no, just
amazing.
imagine you knock this down and you push this out and then you rip up this and you do this. And they're like, I don't think so.
Yeah. We were with a client recently, and it was dilapidated house, towards Rockdale, I believe, and that was rough. I had not seen a rough house like that to that condition in a long time. And even I was like, man, Danielle, you're kind of out of it. Hold yourself together here.
Yeah.
I walked in there and thought, man, if I reclaimed all this wood, this house was built in 1960. I could take this
love
wood
it.
It was
and
50s,
stack that.
actually, yeah.
It
was good
so where do you
material.
see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, just always learning and growing. We signed up with the relocation division of Keller Williams. So relocation to the Austin area is a big deal. Getting, more in tune with that, obviously doing the fixing and flipping is always going to be something that we have as a core value for our family to do. And then just helping our clients. It feels like we're kind of stepping up in helping them transition. A lot of our clients that we've had for many years are looking into kind of the last purchases of their lives, or, how do they have some retirement strategies or investments for their kids? So I'm excited about what that looks like in helping our clients think about long-term pictures that they and things that they're looking forward to, and how can we partner with them on that. I think for us as a team, we'll continue to have family members on our team. That could change. We don't want our kids to feel like they have to be part of the team, or the agents currently that are on our team have to be there. We always are open for what the potential is for other people to join the team. But for us to be in this area, in the Austin area, and to see kind of the potential growth I'm excited about for sure. And it's something that we will always be involved with. Forever.
In real estate. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode of With the Babins. If you're interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, give us a call.